kidding? Just one shot?
They're not all zombies, Doug. How do you fight this thing?
Maybe we could drown it in A1 sauce.
Well, sometimes that is better. The person you put up there ain't the person that comes back.
It's a dance song to get down with. About 6 feet under. Get there.
Ooh, I love this song.
And now we come to the thrilling final episode of our radio drama.
Hello and welcome to episode 225 of the Rotten Views podcast. I had to think there for a minute because, it's been a busy week. It's Thursday right now at this point in time. Christmas is just a day ago. It's Boxing Day as I'm recording this one, and it's just been one hectic week so far, and the week's not even over yet. But that's okay, because we have hopefully what's going to be a fun movie set for you guys today. But before we do get discussing this movie, I know we're just in the intro segment of the podcast, but let's do a little bit of housekeeping before we get too far into this movie.
Housekeeping?
I think you're sleeping.
Housekeeping?
Could you come back in an hour?
Housekeeping, you want towels?
More towels. Need sleepy.
Housekeeping, you want mint for a pillow?
Please go away. Let me sleep for the love of God.
As always, if you guys could hit that share button on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on, sharing the episodes does help me out a lot, and it does me a lot. So if you guys could share the episodes, I appreciate it. If you're listening on Spotify, if you could give it a star rating, I'd appreciate that as well. I'm not going to ask you for 5 stars. I'm going to just, tell you to rate it whatever star you think it's worth. Hopefully 5 stars, 4, 3 is good too. 1, I might curse you a little bit, but that's okay. Maybe next year for Christmas you get some coal in your stocking or whatever it might be. I'm just kidding, of course. Just rate it whatever you think it deserves. If you're on Apple or iTunes, whatever the hell it is, feel free to leave a review over there as well. I'll get around to it at some point in time to checking it out. If you're on Castbox, I don't know if there's a rating system on Castbox. Just hit that subscribe button on there. That way you get notified every time I post a new video, and hopefully it will go to your library, and you can check it out every single Saturday, sometimes Sunday, sometimes Monday, or check it out whenever you feel like it. Because who am I to say you shouldn't watch it or listen to it first day? Listen to it whenever you want to. That's why the catalog's here. And it's crazy to think we're getting closer and closer to 230 episodes. But thank you, everyone, for, stopping by each and every single week to check out the episodes. I appreciate it so much. As always, you can check out all my links down below. All my social media accounts. You can find me on everything at Typhenstein. We're on X, we're on Threads, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok. We are streaming on Twitch as well. I don't have a set schedule for my Twitch channel at all. Hopefully in the new year we'll get something scheduled up, so it's like 2 to 3 days, or 2 to 3 days a week. And then we'll also do live streams still over on the YouTube channel. So definitely go check out the YouTube channel. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. That way you get notified every time we post a new video on YouTube. We have the weekly gaming video that drops every single Wednesday. One didn't happen this week because, being Christmas and stuff. I don't have a big catalog of videos ready to go to post whenever. I'm pretty much doing this week to week at this point in time. So I just didn't feel like rushing one out for Christmas. I didn't have a Christmas game or anything like that, festive style, ready to go. So I figured I'd just take the week off. I might take off until New Year's, to be honest with you, with the YouTube channel. But we'll see. We'll see how next week goes. So yeah, make sure to check out the YouTube channel though. Like I said, we do have the weekly game video. We have old episodes of the podcast. I do live streams over there as well. And we also have various short videos over there as well. So definitely go check out. There's a lot of content there for you guys to check out. And we're getting closer and closer to that 1,000 sub mark. And once we do hit 1,000 sub, I'm going to be giving away some free artwork So definitely go hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications. So that way you get notified every time we go live with a video. Also, make sure to check out the Facebook page and the Instagram page, because that's where I've been posting all my artwork. I post them on YouTube as well, under the shorts category, but definitely go check it out there as well if that's a more of a platform that you guys are into. If you want to see me on X a little bit more, maybe I'll start posting on X a little bit more. I go for spurts with X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I kind of get bored after a while. I kind of get bored of all this social media crap after a while, to be honest with you guys. Kind of just got to step away from it every now and then. That's why I go strong for a couple months of posting daily, and then I just got to mentally just step away and take a break with, doing the weekly game video, doing all the art pieces I do every single week, doing the podcast. It all just kind of gets stuck up there in the old brain, and I don't know which one to work on priority-wise for the next, coming days. But I think we're in a good motion. Like I said, probably going to take off to New Year's for doing the posting on YouTube. That way just start fresh in the year. So hopefully you guys will stick around. Hopefully you guys will check out all the new stuff that comes in the new year. And hopefully you guys had a good Christmas. Hopefully Santa was nice to you or rude to you. Whatever it might be. But enough about all that stuff. Let's get talking about the movie at hand that you guys are here to listen to me talk about. We are discussing Tower Heist from 2011. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. This movie has a 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb, 67% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 6.2 out of 10 on Prime Video. Initial release date was November 4, 2011, with a box office of $152.9 million and a budget of $75 million. The description, as read from IMDb. When a group of hardworking guys find out they've fallen victim to their wealthy employer's Ponzi scheme, they can aspire to rob his high-rise residence. This movie has a runtime of 1 hour and 44 minutes, and the director for this one is Brett Ratner. It's always nice when one of these people have a name that I can actually pronounce properly. He's also the director for 1998's Rush Hour. He's the director for 2006 X-Men The Last Stand. I can't remember if that's the good X-Men movie or one of the bad ones. Is that the one where Deadpool doesn't look like Deadpool at all? I can't remember at all. He's also the director for 2002's Red Dragon. I've heard of that one, but I don't remember much about it. He's also the producer for 2014's Hercules movie starring The Rock, which I avoided that movie because it just did not look good at all. He was also the executive producer for 89 episodes from 2005 to 2017 of the TV series Prison Break. I haven't seen a single damn episode about that. I played the video game for maybe 2 hours at one point in time back in the day, but other than that, I don't know a damn thing about the TV show. This movie has 3 writers attached to it. The first one we're going to talk about is Adam Cooper. He was the writer for 2016 Assassin's Creed. Never watched it. He's the writer for 2015's The Transporter, Refueled. I totally forgot about that Jason Statham series of movies. I used to watch the second one over and over again because at one point in time, I think I was living on my own. I didn't have a lot of DVDs at all. Well, I think I was working at the tattoo shop at the time. Didn't really have much to my name. Everything smart supplies, a couch, TV, whatever. And not a lot of, movies to watch. And I watched that one over and over again. He's also the writer for 2014's Exodus, Gods and Kings, which I've never even heard of before. On to the next writer that's titled with this is Ted Griffin. Ted is known for being the writer for 2001's Ocean's 11. He was the writer for 13 episodes of a TV series called Terriers. I haven't heard of that one. He's also the writer for 2003's Matchstick Men, as well as 1999. He was the writer for Ravenous. I know Ocean's 11. That's about it for that guy. The final writer for this one is a man named Bill College. Look at that. 3 names I can pronounce properly. He was also part of the writing team for 2014's Exodus, Gods and Kings. He was also part of the writing team for 2016 Assassin's Creed, as well as he was the writer for 2006 Accept It. I feel like I've seen that one. The cover looks familiar, but I can't remember it either. I'm getting really old, I guess. Or I just watched too many movies and they're all kind of just blurring together. Now we're at that section where we're going to talk about a couple of cast members. Lately, we've just been talking about the 2 top billing cast members. But I also want to mention that this movie, aside from Eddie Murphy and Ben Stiller that we're going to be talking about, also has Casey Affleck, Alan Alda, Matthew Broderick, Michael Pena. Probably butchered the last name on him. But you would know him once you see the movie. And there's some other, decently well-known characters or actors in this movie. But the main 2 we're going to be talking about, of course, is Eddie Murphy and Ben Stiller. I mean, right off the gate, Eddie Murphy how do we describe Eddie Murphy? What movies do we talk about? Do we talk about 1988, where he was Prince Akeem and Coming to America? Or do we talk about 1984, where he was Axel Foley in Beverly Hills Cop? Or do we talk about 1996, where he was Sherman Klump, the Nutty Professor? There's so many different movies that we could talk about. We could also talk about 2019, where he was Rudy in Dolomite Is My Name. Or we can talk about a movie that I watched just a couple days ago, or a couple weeks ago, it might have been at this point in time. It's a family movie that we watch every Christmas. And we can talk about 2023, where he was Chris Carver in Candy Cane Lane. There's so many different movies that we could talk about with Eddie Murphy, and I'd be here forever if I did that. So we're going to cut it right here, right now. And then we jump over to Ben Stiller. Do we talk about Tropic Thunder from 2008, where he was the producer? How about he also has producing rights on Zoolander from 2001, as well as Zoolander 2 from 2016, where, he was also the actor in it as well. Do we talk about the newest movie that just came out on Disney Plus? I probably think like 2 weeks ago, Nutcrackers. Wasn't too bad of a movie. Watched it with the family. Didn't mind it. Wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be. Took a different twist than I thought it was going to take. But still, a decent movie nonetheless. Another movie that has Ben Stiller in it, where he plays Evan in 2012. The Watch. Funny little alien movie. I personally enjoy it. I don't think too many people have seen it, though, to be honest with you. You can also talk about him being Alex, the voice actor in Madagascar in that series. Fun series, fun little animated series. My kid enjoys it, so I enjoy it, and I've enjoyed it before she was even born, but that's besides the point. But the last thing we're going to talk about for Ben Stiller is a little movie they did in 1995 called Heavyweights, where he's Tony Perkis. Fun movie, definitely love it. I revisit it, once a year, pretty much. I would definitely recommend, if you haven't seen it, probably go watch it. Probably do it for the podcast. Might already did it for the podcast, to be honest with you. Can't remember at this point in time. I think we did do it for the podcast. So I just checked back on the podcast catalog. We haven't done it for the podcast, but guess what, folks? We will be doing it for the podcast at some point in time in the new year. So enough of talking about the actors in the movie. The tagline for this one is, "It's not just a robbery, it's payback." According to IMDb, the whole filming of this movie takes place in Manhattan, in New York City in general, Central Park, as well as Trump International Hotel and Tower 1, apparently. Didn't know it was a Trump hotel building. I might notice that once we're watching the movie and I actually look and see. But at this point in time, remembering back, I had no idea. But it makes sense, of course, because Trump stuff was in a lot of various movies. Also, according to IMDb, on opening weekend, this movie across the States and Canada made $24 million and $25,190. Roughly, of course. And in general, it made back $78 million U.S. and Canada side. But then worldwide, it made $152 million. So I think it was pretty good because the budget was 75. So I mean, to me, in my books, that's a win. But I'm not a director or producer or anything in the movie industry, so I don't know. But enough about all that kind of stuff. Let's get started on the movie at hand. This movie's gonna be full of spoilers, or this podcast is gonna be full of spoilers, like I do every single week. I'm talking about the movie from start to finish and hitting all the points in between that interest me. So if you don't want to be spoiled on a movie that came out in 2011, feel free to pause this episode now and go watch it on Amazon Prime, or just sit back, relax, and listen to me talk about the movie. I'll either make you really want to see the movie, or you'll just be like, nah, I'm good, not watching that movie at all. So with that being said, this is your final warning. It's your only warning too, to be honest with you. So if you're, at home, hopefully this, helps you relax, get some snacks, get some Doritos, nibs, candy canes, whatever it might be, any leftover chocolates that you have left from Christmas. If you're at work, hopefully this helps you get through the day. Hopefully, it helps pass the time. And if you're listening in the car, just keep your eyes on the road, okay? I don't want any accidents. It's winter time. You need to get home safely. There might be a snowstorm out. If you're listening to a snowstorm, or listening while in a snowstorm, I should say, keep your eyes on the road, okay? Just get home safe. And we're going to get started on the movie right now.
Presents Saturday Night at the Movies, the television series which each week brings you the finest in recent motion pictures. Tonight,
the average apartment in the tower costs $5.6 million. We have the best views, most advanced security systems, but you know what these people are really buying? White neighbors? Us, the staff. They pay for our full and undivided attention 7 days a week.
And Enrique, one other thing. I may have my own private island in Belize, but deep down, I'm just in the story of boy like Josh here.
That's right, PS 104. Go Lions.
Just an hour ago, the tower's richest resident was released into federal custody under house arrest here at his penthouse apartment.
Several years ago, he was asked to manage all of your pensions. Right now, they're saying that anyone who invested with Mr. Shaw has been defrauded.
Did he get your money too?
Yeah, he did.
If you need me, I'll be living in this box.
All these guys keep cash close by, but we still haven't found Shaw's safety net. 20 million and change.
So you're saying you want to rob Arthur Shaw? It's inside a building that has the most advanced security and is guarded by FBI agents 24 hours a day. We're not criminals. We don't know how to steal.
Don't worry. I know someone who does.
You made bail.
How come you bail me out? Man, I don't even know your name.
You don't remember Mrs. Salzberg? We used to get dropped off at her apartment every morning for daycare. Come on, heavy-set German woman, short goatee.
You the little seizure boy that's having them seizures all the time.
No.
If you would have seizures on a regular basis, all the kids would be crying, and your eyes is rolling back, and the foam and coming out. It was very scary.
Asthma doesn't cause seizures.
Why'd you bail me out?
Because I have a job.
Oh, little seizure boy won't try to rob somebody, huh? What you trying to steal?
$20 million.
A robbery can change very quickly. You have to be ready to adapt to the situation at any moment.
I got your ski hats.
No, masks. I said ski masks.
But the guy said these would keep us the warmest.
Anything can happen. I was on a job a few days ago where my homie got shot in the face.
Get shot in the head, it's over.
If you get shot in your head, it's over. If you get shot in your face, the bullet will go in your cheek, then come out the other side. Then what you gonna do?
Die. I'm gonna die.
You people are working stiffs, clock punchers, easily replaced.
I don't care what it takes, but we'll find a way to make things right.
The maid's gone rogue.
You know this is a bad idea, right?
That's it. I don't want you talking to me for the rest of the robbery.
First thing you do, you gotta find the entry point. You gotta use your fingers when you find the entry point. You married?
No, I ain't married. What's up?
Yeah, the movie started out and the intro credits are starting to play, and there's this very like spy, like robbery style music playing. It's hard to like describe, but it's just, it has that kind of like a spy movie, James Bond style movie music setting feeling to it. And then we see $100 bill, and then we see someone swimming through that $100 bill because it's now on the top of this tower. Inside this pool, in the bottom of the pool, they have a giant print of a $100 bill, and then we see the New York City skyline, and then we see Ben Stiller's character Josh Kovacs, I think that's his last name. And you know, he's grinding up some coffee beans. And then we see our rich old bastard Arthur Shaw, who's, you know, getting out of the pool because he's the one swimming up on top of that giant skyscraper inside the pool that has a $100 bill printed on the bottom of it. Shaw gets out of his pool, puts his nice fancy robe on, goes to sit down at his Dell computer where he's playing some digital chess, and he's staring at the screen being like, I wonder what my next move should be. And we see that he's actually playing chess with Josh because Josh's ping comes on his computer like, checkmate. And then we see Josh leaving his apartment complex, and that's when he runs into Slide, Eddie Murphy's character, for the first time. He's like, what's this punk-ass bitch in a suit doing walking on my side of the street, huh? And then, you know, Josh just takes off on his own, you know, walking down the street, on his way to the subway station so he can catch this little subway train to work. I'm assuming taking the subway to work is a lot cheaper than having, you know, an actual car to drive around. And because of the way traffic is in New York City, it's probably a bitch. And Josh is showing right up to work when Arthur is getting ready to leave the hotel and go into his, you know, Rolls Royce limo to go off to somewhere, God knows where. And Josh's like, hey, let me grab the door there. Also, with party tonight, are we sure we want the two people here, you know, hanging out with each other? Because, you know, they're married to other people and they're kind of fucking each other. He's like, good catch. I never thought about that. And Josh seems to be like the head of security. He's walking around and, you know, everyone's checking in with him and see how he's doing or see how, you know, the business is doing, the company's doing. And then one of the clean ladies comes up to him being like, Josh, my visa is about to expire. You need to find me a husband. He's like, can I have my bagel first before we discuss this and figure out everything? Then while Josh is talking to Miss Levinko, who's apparently like studying for exam, he's like, you know, you can study in my office because I never use it. But then, Josh is like, hey, everyone, be quiet, because there's like 20 people in the back area here. He's like, I hear someone buzzing. Which one of you guys is buzzing? And that's when it's Michael Pena's character, Enrique Devra. I butchered that last name. He's like, sorry, it's me. I'm buzzing. He's like, I didn't hire you. He's like, sorry. It's my first day, actually. I'm new here. And that's when Josh then takes him on under his wing and he starts walking around and be like, so we got top of line security, got the best view in the city. And Josh is like, so no cell phones, no anything, no technology at all. And Enrique's like, BK had the same rules, like no sex in the office or storage room. That's the same here, right? Then we see Josh, going around greeting some of the other people that live in the building as they're getting ready to go off on their day. And he's like, so that package, sir, you want to arrive? It arrived early, which is another girl. And Enrique's like, so how do we split up the tips when we get tipped? Like, how does that work? And Josh's like, we don't accept tips here at the tower. Yeah, they keep their own money, even though they're rich bastards as it is. And then we see Josh running into Charlie, and apparently Charlie's on his last limb because one of the guys there wants to fire him. But apparently Charlie was coming back from his girlfriend's baby doctor, OBGY, whatever, appointment. I should know what that was because that was 8 years ago. But whatever. And he's freaking out because apparently the baby's head's so big, and apparently Josh's sister's vagina is really small. His words, not mine. And apparently Charlie was talking to some of Josh's family, and apparently all the ladies in the family have small ones. So he's like, either your sister's vagina is going to explode or the baby's head's going to explode. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm scared. And then we see Josh talking to his boss, and he has to go up to room 5959, which is actually Matthew Broderick's room, Mr. Fitzhugh. Apparently Fitzhugh is behind on the rent, and he's going to get evicted, and that's not going to look good for the tower because apparently the tower has never had to put a family out on the streets before. That's when Josh is like, so Mr. Fitzhugh, the bank owns your apartment, right? And they're coming tomorrow morning to kind of kick all your stuff outside, so I just wanted to let you know ahead of time so you guys know what's going on. That's when Fitzhugh starts telling, Josh his whole story and how they have nowhere else to go. And Josh is like, we might do some elevator maintenance tomorrow, to be honest with you. And maybe those guys from the bank, they're going to have to come back in their time because they're not going to want to walk up all the stairs to get to your apartment. And then Josh goes back down to the ground floor where we find out that Enrique's been, smoothing it with Arthur, the main guy of the movie. And he's like, Arthur, just so you know, Enrique here, he's a temporary hire. Just going to see how he does with the elevator. He's not, fully hired yet. So then Arthur's like, hey, so let's just solve this hiring issue right now. If I want a burger, how are you going to go get for me? And apparently there's a certain burger at a certain spot with a certain amount of cheese on it. And Enrique's like, yeah, I'll get it for you for sure. And we see Josh and Lester. Lester's like the main bellhop guy who lets everyone in the building. And he's an older gentleman. He's letting Josh know. He's like, this is going to be my last year, Josh. Just want to let you know I'm going to go visit, I forget her name, but she's going to go visit someone and go travel around the world, be an old person, and, just enjoying their time off until, everything else happens. And now the next morning, we see Josh getting up and ready for work, and he's walking to work, and of course, we then see Slide running out of his apartment, chasing down that girl, and she's all pissed off at Slide because apparently a girl called early in the morning looking for him. He's like, it was the wrong number. She's like, well, why did she ask for your name then? It's like, just a wrong number. I don't know, just a lucky guess. Then we see Josh and Lester standing outside the tower, and then they're noticing there's an all-black car across the street, and a bunch of guys get out of it, and they got guns poking out of their jacket. And it's like, so, Lester, how about you just lock up the lobby, lock up the door, get everyone out of the lobby, and we're going to go for a cold black and get everyone, clear to safety so nothing else happens. Then as Josh is in the camera room looking at the cameras, he's like, why is the Stillman Brothers laundry van here? He's like, well, someone called because they spilled wine on the carpet. And then he's watching the cameras, and these two guys in suit take out Arthur and throw him in the back of the van. And they're like, oh, this isn't a robbery, it's a kidnapping. So then Josh goes to chase down the van breaks through the gate, and it's driving down the side of the road as Josh is running down the sidewalk. And they call black! Then as he's running down the sidewalk, he gets clotheslined by Special Agent Claire, and then the laundry van spills over to the side somehow. It goes to take a sharp turn and flips over, and then the cops all show up and start surrounding him, and then they handcuff Arthur. He's like, he's a victim. He was a kid being kidnapped. And Special Agent Claire's like, no, it's not kidnapping. He was trying to flee the country. And then we hear like the radio happening, like just discussing what's going on with the situation with Arthur Shaw. And apparently he's, doing a lot of fraud stuff, and all his assets are going to be frozen because of everything that he was doing, all the business he was doing. And, it wasn't good business. And then Josh is having a meeting with all the people that work with him, and he's saying that Arthur Shaw was, for the last 6 years on the board of the tower, and apparently he was in charge of the finances for all of them. Josh is saying, according to the reports right now, anyone who's invested with Mr. Shaw and has a pension with him, there's probably no money there because it's all been fraud, and, all their money has pretty much been stolen from underneath their face. And now it's like the next day, and news reporters are talking as a limo is showing up to the tower, and we see Mr. Shaw getting out, where he's been put on bail for $10 million, where he's under house arrest, and he's got to stay in his penthouse apartment at the top of the tower. And then we see them all upstairs at the penthouse. Apparently, Shaw has his own PIN code for the elevator to go upstairs, and once they get to his penthouse, he's got a Ferrari sitting inside of it. It's a rare one, and he's explaining how rare it is and how it's his baby and all this other crap. And apparently it was Steve McQueen's old car, and apparently the penthouse is now like a maximum security building or room, because Shaw is not supposed to leave at all, and no one's supposed to be like left, not paying attention to him, because they don't want him jumping out the window or killing himself or anything like that. And we see Josh and Special Agent Claire going down to the basement where the garbage dumpsters are, and they're like, this is where most crimes are solved, in the garbage, so we're going to go through all the trash and figure out if we can find any clues as to where all this fraud money is gone. We then see Josh walking back home. It's nighttime. And of course, he gets closer to Sly's apartment building. We see a crowd around, and we see sirens and lights going. And of course, it's Sly being arrested and put into a police car. He's like, come on, man, take video of this. This isn't right. He's like, sorry, man. My phone camera doesn't work. I can't help you at all. We see Lester in the subway station, and the subway train's coming closer. We can see a look on his face. He's very depressed as he slowly walks closer and closer to where the train is. And then, of course, we get a phone call. Josh is being woken up, and he's meeting Charlie at the hospital. And that's when we find out that Lester tried to step in front of the subway train, and an officer that was off duty actually pulled him back in the last second to save him. Because, of course, Lester's very depressed because all his money for his pension that he's hoping to travel the world with is now missing because, Arthur Shaw is a piece of crap. So then Josh goes into Lester's room. He's like, hey, if you need a sick day, you could just ask, right? I need you back at work. I'm just going to tell the doctors that someone pushed you. Is that okay? And then that's when Lester breaks down. He's like, I gave Shaw all my money. I told him to invest it because he knew what he was doing, and I have absolutely no money left. And in a few months, I won't even have enough money to cover my rent, and I'm not going to be able to retire ever again. Then we see a very pissed off Josh heading into the elevator of the tower, and we have Charlie falling after him being like, you can't go up there like a lunatic, man. This is not going to fix any problems. And then as we see them getting into the elevator, Fitzgerald, Matthew Broderick's character, comes into the elevator, and he's a Wall Street guy. He's like, so all this financial stuff, like how would we know that when Shaw knew things were going bad for him? He's like, probably a year ago or so. He's looking at lawyers and stuff then. And Josh is like, so what about 2 months ago? Like, would he be able to take someone's money and spend it then too? He's like, well, yeah, I guess. So then Josh walks into the room where Arthur is. He's like, so your Labor Day party, you were serving crab legs and stuff like that? He's like, I'm going to ask you one time, what did you do with Lester's money? Why did you take Lester's money? And Arthur's like, I appreciate you, Josh, but I'm not really appreciating your tone that you're using with me right now. You should give me a little bit more respect because of the amount of money I have. So then pissed off Josh grabs a golf club off the side of the wall, and Arthur's like, so the FBI's lying to you. It's a gamble. They're just lying to you. I'm honestly not in the wrong here, and the lawyers are going to figure everything out. And then we see Josh holding that golf club and looking at Steve McQueen's car that's sitting inside of Arthur's apartment. So then Josh starts taking the golf club to the car, and Arthur's like, come on, this car's irreplaceable. You can't be breaking this. He's like, yeah, not like doormen, huh? They're coming. About 50 other new ones coming off the line every single day, huh, Arthur? And then Josh just starts beating the back window of the car, and he's like, oh, you thought Steve McQueen was really cool, huh? Well, now he's my little bitch. oops, look, your back window's all smashed out now too. Then as the three of them are leaving the room, Arthur's like, so Josh, aren't you forgetting something? Aren't you forgetting my breakfast order because I'm deserving of breakfast? And they just walk away and just ignore him. Then we see Josh, Charlie, and Enrique in Mr. Simon's office, and Mr. Simon's freaking out. He's like, I'm not going to have a bunch of vigilantes working in my tower. Arthur's pissed off about what you did to his car, and I got to fire all three of you guys. He took my money too, but you guys are fired because you can't control yourself. So then we see Charlie leaving the building on his bicycle. And Josh's like, hey, Charlie, wait up. I'll call Sasha. I'll let her know that, you didn't mess it up. It was me. He's like, no, don't do me any more favors. I know you want to get me fired from here anyways to begin with. He's like, yeah, I did. Because you suck at the job, but not because of this whole situation. I just, you weren't good at the job because you never really showed up to do your job. And we see Josh meeting Claire in a bar, and apparently he's like, this goes against everything I believe in, but here is the last 10 years worth of, Shaw's, travel history, meeting with judges, whatever. And, I need to get my employees money back to them because, they need to have money so they can actually afford to live. Then Claire hits Josh with some disappointing news, being like, yeah, we actually already have all those files, so we actually don't need your files. He's like, oh, well, we're shot. So then he goes to leave, and then Claire's like, hey, want to get drunk? Let's get drunk here. Got nothing better to do. And then Claire, lets some information out that apparently Shaw had a bunch of money in some accounts, and then when they actually arrested him, those accounts are actually emptied at this point in time. And it's roughly about $20 million worth that's gone missing that they can't find. And Claire's like, we had a little bit of luck and patience. Maybe you'll get lucky, or we'll get lucky and we'll get the money, and then you can get lucky with me. And he's like, luck's not really my thing. She's like, well, maybe you can get a group of guys together with pitchforks and go storm the castle and find the money for us. And then we see Josh going to Shake Shack, where apparently there's a big line up there. I've never been, so I wouldn't know. And of course, Enrique's working behind the counter. He's like, so you like working here? He's like, I cry every single night. I hate it here. And then we cut to Josh then going to a motel where he is then meeting up with Mr. whatever, Matthew Broderick's character. His last name is a little bit different. But yeah, Josh is like, I got a little bit of idea for you, a little bit of plan. And then we see Charlie is working at Toys R Us. And he looks like he's having the time of his life. Not really. And Charlie's like, hey, kid, blue shirt, don't be spitting. He's like, suck it, asshole. It's like, yeah, it's a good job here, Josh. I gotta get 40 hours to put on the paperwork, but, it's a fun job. So then we see the group of guys sitting down. It's Josh, it's Charlie, Fitzhugh, and Enrique. And Charlie's like, so you think Shaw has a secret safe in the wall somewhere in his penthouse apartment with the $20 million in it, and you want us to break in there while Shaw is in there all the time, 24/7, with 2 armed guards the whole time. And you think we're going to be able to find this safe? He's like, yeah, well, to be honest with you, Josh, like, he had his apartment redone a while ago, and he only left one wall standing. He moved a bunch of other walls and moved the kitchen and whatnot, but he had left one wall standing, and it's got to be inside that wall. Charlie has no faith in it. He's like, no, let's just let the FBI do the job, and they'll get the money back for us. And Josh's like, I've already talked to the FBI. The money's gone. This is why we need to go find that $20 million that's missing. That way we can all get our money back. Let's go storm the castle together. And Charlie's like, we're not criminals, man. We don't know how to steal. Josh's like, don't you worry. I know someone who does. And that's when we then see Slide in jail and his cell's doors being open. And he's like, you must have someone lucky, dude, because you made bail. You're getting out here now. That's when we then see Josh meeting Slide outside. He's like, hey, bud, I thought you might need a ride. And Slide's like, what the hell are you doing here? So then we see Josh and Slide in the car. They're talking. Well, Josh is talking. Slide's not really talking. And then Slide just puts his foot down on the gas on top of Josh's foot and just has it floored. He's like, tell me why you bailed me out. Are you a cop? Are you trying to simulate my nutsack? What are you doing here, boy? He's like, I don't even know your damn name. He's like, I'm Josh Kovacs, the guy in the suit. We talk almost every single morning. He's like, I don't know a damn thing about you, boy. And then Josh is doing some throwbacks to when they were kids. Apparently, they're the same lady that used to wash them. And Josh is like, hey, don't you remember when HR Puff and stuff used to scare you? And this and that. And he's like, oh, I do remember you. Actually, you're the little boy that used to have the seizure. He's like, no, I just have a little bit of anxiety here and there. My throat would puff out a little bit. No wings, no seizures. So then Josh is like, so I bailed you out because you have a certain skill that I need. He's like, what skill's that? He's like, taking stuff that doesn't belong to you. He's like, oh, a little seizure boy wants to do a robbery, huh? He's like, so what are we trying to steal? He's like, $20 million. He's like, let's go have some lunch then. Let's go discuss this. So then they meet each other, or everyone, and Sly's like, this is your group? No, I ain't working with these guys. These guys aren't anything special. He's like, yeah, you don't look like anything special either. And Josh like, hey, he's qualified, okay? Doesn't pay his taxes, been arrested a couple times. He's got two Doberman pinchers. So then Sly's like, the only way I'm going to work with you guys, if you go in this super mall that we're in right now, because we're in the food court, and you need to go shoplift $50 each worth of goods. I'm bringing them back on the table. And he's like, you got to leave your wallets on the table too, because I don't want you paying for the stuff and then acting like you shoplifted it, because that's the only way I'm going to work with you. So leave your wallets here and go steal me some good. So let me see the guys trying to steal stuff. Josh is trying to steal some lingerie. Fitzhugh is just looking at some other clothes as the guys are watching them. And then we have Charlie who's looking at some earrings. And he's like, hey, you got any hoops? And the guy's like, yeah, everything is on this display right beside us. He's like, how about catalog? Do you got a catalog in the back that you can probably go get? So then Charlie starts scooping up earrings with his mouth. And then we see Enrique, who's in like a Foot Locker trying on some Nikes. Be like, you got this in like a better size in the back so I can just swap my shoes right here, right now? Yeah. So they all bring back their stuff and show Slide. And he's like, all right, we'll work with you guys tomorrow. And he's like, hey, Charlie's like, hey, how do we know to trust you and that you can do your job? He's like, well, be honest with you, I just stole $265 worth of cash. Rule number 1, never leave your wallets with a thief. Good night, boys. And now we see Slide with the guys up on the roof. And he's like, yesterday I taught you guys how to pick a lock with a bobby pin. Here's your bobby pins, everyone. I'm going to go in this door. And if you guys can unlock the door, you guys won't freeze to death. I'm going to be inside where it's nice and warm, okay? See you guys later. Because they're up on the roof and they have a stairway, the stairway that goes up to the roof. They're on the very top of the roof. So inside Josh's apartment, they're going over some security footage. And at one point in time, Slide's like, who's the girl in the red dress? And Charlie's like, don't worry about it. She's a lesbian. And then Fitzhugh's like, lesbian, she sold me my unit when I first moved in. He's like, yeah, well, a lot of things have happened. She likes to make lesbian stuff. And then we see them the next day sitting in a restaurant across the street. And they're looking at the men and be like, we can't afford any of this stuff. And Slide's like, don't worry about it. I got a cockroach in a bag. And then we see Josh has a Lego replica made of Shaw's apartment. And Slide's looking at him and be like, why didn't you just use Lincoln Logs or something else? Like, what's this, Webster? What's this character, Webster? And then we see Enrique showing up with the ski caps instead of ski masks. He's like, I bought these because the guy that sold me them said they're the warmest ones ever, so I figured we need something warm. And then we heard the doorbell going off, and everyone starts freaking out because Claire's outside with 2 officers, and they're like, we're plotting. That's why they're here. They're here because we've been plotting to try and rob them. Oh, no. And then Slide's like, I don't know what you guys are worrying about. This is against my parole. I can't be seen here, so they all go to hide. So then Josh goes to answer the door, and it's Claire showing up being like, Shaw's going to walk because they don't have enough evidence on him. So then we see Claire taking Josh to go talk to Shaw, and Mr. Simon's there as well. And Shaw's like, I'm a really good chess player, but I'm not a swindler. And what you did to my car, Josh, I don't know how I'm going to repay you for that, but I am going to figure something out. And Josh is like, well, you know what? I'm going to try and pay you back for everything you've done as well. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but we'll figure something out. Then we have Josh showing back up to his home where Claire's dropping him off, and she hands him a floppy disk with the footage of him beating up Shaw's car. Anyways, he walks in, and then they're like, what's that? He's like, it's just a present. Charlie's like, I don't know about the other guys, but I don't want you seeing the FBI agent because I don't think it's going to work out good. He's like, don't worry about it. I'm not seeing her until Saturday. We have a date. And everyone's like, oh God, now he's dating her. Great. And then it's the next day, and they're standing outside this store that sells a bunch of safes. And Slide's freaking out a little bit because he's never broken into the actual safe. And Josh's like, what, you think it was going to be made of wood or something? He's like, well, no, I usually rob balconies. That way, it's not breaking entry because it's on the balcony. And I usually don't take over $1,000 because in New York City, that's a felony, and I don't want a felony. Then we see Josh and the guy sitting down with Odessa. She was the girl from earlier that needed the visa so that she wouldn't get deported because she's from Jamaica. And he's like, yeah, I'm sorry. I know you blame me for the pension stuff. I'm here. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want you getting mad at me. I don't want you hating me. But when I did hire you, I see see here that you used to work for your father in Kingston, and he was a locksmith. Did he teach you any of that kind of stuff by chance? And she's like, yeah, there's not a single safe I can't break into or lock I can't break into. And they're showing the one safe, be like, how about this safe? Were you able to break in this one? It's like, yeah, probably can't. I can't see why not. Then we see Josh and the guys doing some, surveillance as they're watching from, an upper area. And they see Charlie taking his bike into the building, into the tower. And then Josh talks to him later on, being like, so what's this about? Why were you in the tower? He's like, well, I want to talk to Mr. Simon about the manager position. Because, I figured maybe if I could get the manager position, I'd have some money at least coming in. And it would be easier to rob Mr. Shaw. We now see that it's Thanksgiving because we see all the Macy's Day Parade floats getting ready to, take off into the air. And then we see Charlie apparently got the manager job because he's now in the building, giving a speech to all the employees, being like, I'm not Josh Kovacs, but, let's do a really good job here, guys. Let's run the tower. It's Thanksgiving. It's the biggest day of the year pretty much for us, next to Christmas. So let's have a really good day today. All right, guys? And Thanksgiving works for them as well because that's also the day that Arthur Shaw is being taken to court so they can resolve all these issues. That means the penthouse is now going to be empty, of course. We then see Josh and Fitzhugh and Enrique up in this balcony area, and of course Josh is using his camera to look around. He's like, there goes Slide. He's going for the tower. He's wearing my suit. He stole my suit. He's not going with the plan though. He's going with his own plan apparently. Then to the loading dock area, we see a bunch of security people coming out because they want to see the Snoopy float going by. And then as the door is still open, Josh, Fitzhugh, and Enrique slip into the warehouse loading dock area or parking garage spot of the building. Then we see Mr. Simon in his office talking to Slide, and Slide's acting like he's from the bank. He's like, yeah, we're getting ready to foreclose on that apartment and actually sell it. And Simon's like, we're actually renovating, we're getting it all right now, and it's going to look like a totally new penthouse apartment. And he's like, well, can you actually take me up there so I can go take a look at it and see how the progress is coming? And that's when we see Slide and Simon getting into the elevator, and that's when Josh is like, okay, I guess we're going to have to run up the stairs to get to Shaw's apartment. So then Slide's like, so are you going to be redoing the closets as well? So then Simon's like, yes, we will be. And he walks into the walk-in closet. That's when Slide shuts the door, puts a ladder in front of it, turns on the radio, being like, these doors made of mahogany, they look very nice doors. So then Odessa's taking her cleaning cart up to Shaw's apartment, and she's got cake, and she puts some pills or something, crushed up pills on it, to try to make the security guard eat it. He's like, no, I can't. I'll break out in hives. I'm allergic to chocolate. So she's like, gotta think of a different plan. So then she rams the cart into the security guard to knock him out, being like, you should have had the cake. So then we see Josh cutting the power to the elevators, and that's where Slide is. He's in the elevator, and Slide's like, Odessa, because apparently Slide and Odessa are working together because they want the most money for themselves. And he's like, so Odessa, did he take the cake? She said, no, I had to beat him. So then we see Josh, Enrique, and Fitzhugh finally get up to the room where they see the guard is still knocked out, and Fitzhugh's like, oh my god, the maid's gone rogue. We see the guys going into the apartment, or the penthouse, and they're putting smiley faces over every single camera inside the building, or inside the penthouse, so that they obviously can't record anything. And they had the ski masks, or ski hats on, but they're pulling them down so they're covering up at least their nose, so we just see their mouth hanging out. It just looks goofy. And then we see them, beating around, trying to find where the safe is, and they actually do find the wall that has the safe, and they start breaking the wall, and then, Fitzhugh sees the safe, he's like, oh wow, there is actually a safe in the wall. And then we see Sly show up, be like, get away from the safe. He had to climb through the elevator shaft just to get to the apartment. And he's got a gun now. He's like, I'm a thief. I've been a thief the whole time. Now back up before I pop a cap in your ass and get away from my safe. So Josh isn't backing away from the safe, and Sly's like, I'm going to shoot you if you don't back away from the safe. And then Odessa's like, you don't have a choice. You got to put your gun down, Sly, because I have my own gun. And she's shaking the whole time as she's holding the gun. And then she's also licking her lips because it looks like she just ate the cake. And then Fitzhugh picks up the gun and starts shaking it and staring at Sly, being like, you get down on the ground. We had a plan. We had a plan this whole goddamn time. You had to screw it all up. So then we see Claire and the other FBI agents showing up with Arthur Shaw to the courthouse, and the door's locked, and they're knocking on the door, and then the guard finally opens up. It's like, can I help you guys? He's like, well, we have an appointment with the judge. He's like, the judge is down DC, takes it off all the time. And Claire's like, we got to get back to the building because, apparently you don't have a court case today. And then we cut back into the penthouse, and Odessa finally gets the safe open, and of course, it's empty the whole damn time. Sly gets all pissed off. He's like, you know what, Fitzhugh, give me back my gun. And then they start wrestling over the gun, and then the gun goes off, and the bullet hits the car. And that's when Josh is like, give me that crowbar. So then he starts chipping the paint away at the hood of the car, and we find out the car is gold. We find out that the car is made of gold, and Fitzhugh is making, all these math equations in his head, and we find out the car is worth a lot of goddamn money. So then they're figuring out what part to take of the car, and then Josh's like, why don't we just take the whole goddamn thing then? They're like, well, how are we gonna fit? We can't fit out the damn door. And then they're like, well, how much did you actually say it weighs? Because they're looking outside the window and looking down, and then next thing we know, we see Enrique up on the top of the roof getting ready to use the I don't know what the technical term is, but it's the crane system that they use to clean the windows. And the car ride back, Claire's like, Mr. Shaw, do you know any reason why somebody would want you out of your penthouse? And he's like, no. He's like, Mr. Shaw, I'm pretty sure you're probably being robbed right about now. So we see Slide and Josh popping off the seal of the window, and they take out the glass of the window, and then we see the crane hitch coming down, and they tie it off to the back of the car somehow. And next thing you know, we see the car hanging out the building window as it's slowly getting, dropped down. And then we see a maid just, cleaning, doing some vacuuming. Then she looks like she's gonna look over and see the car, but she just keeps vacuuming like no big deal. And then they're stopping at Fitzhugh's apartment because they're like, all right, stop it right there. The window's open. Fitz, you gotta grab the car and pull it in. He's like, how do I do that exactly? So we see Josh and sliding down the court as well to where Fitz is, and Fitz is reaching out. He's got a rope tied off to a cement mixer that's inside the apartment, and then he's grabbing onto the front bumper. He's like, I got it. And then a gust of wind comes up, blows the car, and next thing you know, we see Fitz holding off on the bumper being like, can somebody help me please? I don't want to die. So then we have Fitz trying to reach over to the rope again as he's hanging off of the bumper, and he slips off the bumper, goes to slide down off the side of the building, but of course then Charlie just shows up and pulls him into safety. So then we see Slide and Josh getting in through the car, through the back window because it's already broken. And then they're sitting in the car trying to, make the car go back and forth to get closer to the window. And then Charlie and Fitz actually hook it. But then once they hook it, the cement mixer that it's tied off to hits against the wall. And then the car actually hits into the building. And then everyone's like, wow, look, we actually got the car in here, huh? And then we see them rolling the car to the service elevator. They're trying to find the keys for the car because they assume it's somewhere inside. But they go through some paperwork, and then Josh actually finds the ledger, which shows all the money that Shaw's taken over the years. And then this old lady comes over and be like, can you walk my dog? There's a pig going outside, and I don't want to walk him. So then she just leaves the dog with Charlie. They finally push the elevator doors open, but they have the car on the roof of the elevator, and half of it's still sticking out because it's pointing straight down. I'm not sure how this plan's going to work out at all for them, but best of luck, I guess. So now we see them balancing the car straight up on top of the elevator, and then the elevator starts shooting down, and then the little dog just jumps into the elevator shaft. So then Josh has to catch it. He's like, Enrique, what's going on with the elevator? Why are we moving? He's like, the security. Security's overriding the whole elevator system. I don't know what to tell you. So then we see Claire, Shaw, and the other agents getting into the elevator, and now the elevator is going up, and the little dog's barking a little bit. Claire looks around and be like, I swear I just heard a dog barking. So then Charlie's like, you know what, we gotta get out here. Now the elevator's all the way up at the top. So Josh is like, we need to use the truck. Where's the keys, Slide? He's like, on the sun visor. And Fitz like, you leave your keys in your vehicle in New York? He's like, yeah, it's a stolen vehicle. I don't worry about the keys. And that's when they then get a hold of Lester, and Lester's able to go to the truck and get it prepped. So then we see Shaw looking around his apartment, all confused, being like, where'd my car go? And then Claire's like, Mr. Shaw, how about you talk about the safe here? He's like, it's empty. He's like, you never talked to us or mentioned at all about the safe. And he's just like, where's my car? I just want to know where my car is. Where's my car? We see Claire looking on the security camera, because Shaw's like, if you let that car get out of this building, you're going to lose your job, and I'm going to make sure you lose your job. So then we see Lester in the truck, driving the truck. He breaks through the parking garage garage gate. He crashes through a bunch of roadblocks and stuff, and then Claire and the other agents are following after him. And then a bunch of other cop cars are pinning him down to the point where they stop him on the street. And he's like, "Okay, guys, you got me. I'll freeze." The agents get out of the car and they go to open the back of the truck. But of course, the back of the truck is empty because it was a distraction the whole time. Then we see a bunch of agents coming around, and one of them arrests Fitzhugh, one of them arrests Odessa, Charlie, and pretty much everyone associated with what might have been the thief in stealing of the car. So then we see like a NYPD police van, and Shaw's sitting in it, and Josh and everyone else is sitting in it as well. And Shaw's like, "Where's my car?" And Josh's like, "Oh, you mean the car made of gold? I don't know where it is." And Josh is like, we might be going to jail for a few years, but you're going to jail for the rest of your life. He's like, "How do you figure that?" He's like, "I found the ledger that you left in the owner's manual. I got all the paperwork I need to put you away for a long time." We see Josh being questioned by Claire, and then his lawyer pops up, and it's Lovenko, the girl that was studying for the bar exam. And then one cop's like, "So you're qualified?" He's like, "Yes, I passed the bar exam 3 days ago." We then see that the only person that's going to be charged now is going to be Kovacs, because there's a deal being made where everyone else gets off scot-free and Kovacs is just gonna have to serve a couple years. And then we see Slide and the gang up on the roof of the building, and they're pulling back the cover of the pool, and that's where the car has been hiding the whole time. And then we see a bunch of the people that worked at the tower, and they're all getting packages dropped off to them, packages varying sizes, and then they all go to open up their package, and it's a different piece of the car inside. Also, each piece of the car that they received, the paint's been all chipped off, and we can see that it's a solid gold piece of the car now, and everyone's all excited. And we then see Josh in jail being, taken to his cell, which we assume. And then Tower Heist outro starts playing, the credits start playing, and the movie's over with. I gotta say, I enjoyed this movie a lot. It's got a really solid cast. People you wouldn't think to see in movies together, like sure, Ben Stiller and Eddie together. Then you got Casey Affleck, you got Alan Alda, and you got Matthew Broderick. And there's a bunch of other little cast members here and there that I've seen in various other movies. But I thought it was really, the timing and speed of it is really well done. It's got some good, action kind of scenes to it. Not like fighting action scenes, but other kind of action. And it's just an overall fun movie and a cool story, to be honest with you. So for me, on the Rotten scale of 10, I'm giving this one a 7, a solid 7. I think it's a really fun movie. I definitely highly recommend you guys check it out. Like I said, it's free on Amazon Prime. So we're at that point in time where we gotta pick what we're gonna be watching next. Alright, so I decided what we're gonna be watching for next week's movie. It's in the Leaving Soon section on Prime. It's from 1984, starring one of my favorite actors, Patrick Swayze, and we're going to be watching Red Dawn. It's been a few years since I watched this, and I think there's a remake of it, but I actually haven't seen the remake, so I'm definitely looking forward to revisiting this one. I think it's going to be a fun movie. Hopefully you guys will check it out. And as always, make sure to check out the outro band, Toronto-based horror band Blood Opera. All their links are down below. You can find them on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Definitely go check them out on Spotify. Like some of their songs, share some of their music, and I'm sure they'll appreciate it a lot. As always, check out all my links down below as well. At Typhenstein. Find me on X. You can find us on Threads, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I'm sure there's more that I'm forgetting about, but you can also find us on YouTube. Definitely go check out the YouTube channel where we've got the weekly gaming video dropping every single Wednesday. I have old episodes of the podcast up as well, and various shorts. Definitely go check out all the art shorts and whatnot. As well as we do live streams over on YouTube. We also do live stream on Twitch, so go check those out as well. Everything's just at Typhenstein. Pretty simple, easy to find, and I don't think there's anyone else with a username like it. So thank you again for showing up this week. I appreciate it so much, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, and hopefully you'll
look forward to next week's episode as well. Like I said, it's in the Amazon Prime section, the Leaving Soon section, I should say, on Amazon Prime. So hopefully by the time this episode's up and uploaded, the other movie's still on. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys all later. Peace.